the main card. So you kick off with Mike Jackson, CM Punk. Where do we start with this? So worst case scenario happened. We got 3 rounds of that bullshit. The worst possible scenario happened. Not only did the worst case scenario happen, but you, and correct me if I'm, and before I say this, I don't know Mike Jackson personally. I've never met him. When I talk about this is strictly him on that one occasion for the 45 minutes he was on TV, whatever, however long it was. So I'm banking off that. I do not know him, never met the guy. I'm sure if we met, we'd probably get along. He'd be a great guy. So let's take that out of the equation. Let's talk about the guy I know on TV. So the worst case scenario happened. You got 15 minutes of the worst product we've ever seen on a pay-per-view. By far the worst fighters that have ever touched foot in the octagon. Hands down, the least talented we've ever seen. Not even fucking close. And so you're praying that it goes fast. Someone makes a mistake, it goes fast. Nope, we got 3 5-minute rounds of that. And then you got to hope, all right, if you're anti-CM Punk, which you shouldn't be anti-CM Punk, you should be anti-UFC allowing him to have this platform. Because the CM Punk is a CM Punk. Meaning if you're going to fight, you want to do it at the highest level, which I don't agree with, but whatever. So you got to hope that Mike Jackson, you root for him. Mike Jackson made it hard to root for him. I found myself rooting against Mike Jackson. With him going in and doing this thing and his arrogance and just his loosey-goosey style in the fight, like he was so much better than CM Punk. Neither one of them should be touching that octagon, first of all. So where the arrogance comes from, I'm not sure. And then the other problem I have is the commentators, and Joe Rogan, one of my best friends, my brother, and even Jimmy Smith and those guys, when they would go, well, Mike Jackson has high-level striking. What happens when you do that is you lower the standard so much. And maybe because I came from watching Showtime boxing with Santa Cruz and Mares and Crawford, and then I have to do this research. I'm watching Mikey Garcia. So I think we have to be very careful throwing around the term high-level striking. Trust me, a high-level striker would have beat CM Punk in under 30 seconds. It would not have been a competitive fight if any one of those two had some sort of high-level striking. That was the only cringeworthy night. That was the only thing that made me go, oh God, we got to be careful with that, because if you're a fan, you're watching and go, God, that's high level striking. No, it's not. And I actually thought CM Punk looked worse this fight than, and this might surprise people, I thought this actually did him more disservice than his first fight against Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall went, all right, he just got his ass whooped, didn't do anything. But then when you actually see him go for 3 rounds, you see 0 cardio, 0 striking. And then for Mike Jackson to get taken down. And then when CM Punk lands on top, and the grappling, the transitions, the sloppiness, the poor technique, and then when CM Punk gets taken down or jumps for, he jumps for a guillotine, which he didn't have in any facet. It wasn't even there. And he has his arm loosely wrapped around his neck. And then Mike Jackson plops him down, and Mike Jackson's on top and playing these games and smiling. And when I didn't think it could get any worse, it got worse. It got worse. And then CM Punk throwing up that half-ass triangle, and it's just the setup's not there, and there's no posture control. It was just a complete shit show. A complete shit show. I just think we have to be very careful when people go, well, CM Punk's living out his dreams. I get that. And what he did is brave to a certain extent. However, if you found out the amount of money he was making, all of you listening to this right now would do that. All you listen to this right now. So before we throw out, oh, he's brave, he's living his dreams, that's fine. All of you listen to this right fucking now. If I said, I will give you $6 to $7 million to walk out there and fight a guy with very similar experience to you, whether you take cardio kickboxing classes, whether you took 3 classes of jiu-jitsu, and I asked you for $6 to $7 million to have a UFC experience where you get to make that walk and fight a guy who's similar style to you, similar skill set for that amount of money. You tell me how brave that is. I'll wait. All of you listening right now would do it, especially my fan base. All of you guys would do it. Even if you're not, even if you're a casual person. If I told my dad, hey, Dad, I will pay you $7 million. You get to make and have the same experience John Jones, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, Robert Whittaker, Holly Holm, Andrei Arlovski. I can keep fucking Anderson Silva. You not only do you get to have the same experience, but you get to have the same treatment as far as stardom as those guys. And I will pay you $7 million, and you're going to fight a guy with the exact same skill set as you, Dad. My dad's been doing taekwondo for fucking 15 years. He has 15 years taekwondo experience. He's 58 years old. Would you do it? Yes. How brave is that? It's not that fucking brave, y'all. We keep chalking up to that. Oh, he's so brave. No, he's not. Don't get me wrong. I like CM Punk. I think it's cool that you get to live out your dreams, but where does this stop? Where does it stop? It diminishes the product. And neither one of those guys could beat any fighter ever to touch that octagon, ever in the history of the UFC. It's not brave, guys. It's not. It's not. What he did, he had a cool opportunity. It's Make-A-Wish. It's no different than Make-A-Wish, but he doesn't have cancer. Hate to get shitty to that level, but there's nothing there, guys. Oh, he's so brave. Again, if you're listening to this and you're at your desk, you're listening to this doing your workout, and I asked you to fight someone for that amount of money, and you get the pampered treatment of a UFC superstar, all of you would do it. How fucking brave is that? Brave is going to fight for this country. Brave is fucking, there's levels to braveness. We have to be super careful with celebrating mediocrity, and we cannot do that. Is as average as that is a below average product. It hurts the fucking sport. It's unbelievable, man. And that going 3 rounds, oh my God. Oh my, I want to stab my fucking eyes out. It's insane, man. It's insane. Hope it never happens again. Hope it never, ever, ever happens again. And again, I'm sure Mike Jackson's a great dude. Met CM Punk, great guy. I'm talking to these guys as far as athletes and the product that I watched Saturday night. Great guys. I'm sure I'd have a beer with both of them. We'd high five. Everything would be all good. Brave. Get the fuck out of here. That heavyweight, you had Tai Tuivasa versus Andrei Arlovski. I thought we learned a lot about Tai Tuivasa. And obviously, with Andrei Arlovski, you should know that Andrei Arlovski is just that savvy vet who has fought big, explosive guys before. People toss him up-and-comers all the time, and he beats them, and then we don't hear from them again. I fought Andrei Arlovski when I was coming up. It's a nightmare to deal with, man. He's seen it all. He's as tough as they get. Just a big right hand's not going to work on that man. He also got blasted by Tai Tuivasa. Everyone's like, oh, Arlovski's chin has to be pretty fucking good, especially how old he is. And was that his 4th fight this year? It's insane what he's doing. I thought Tai did enough to win. Obviously, the cut on Tai's nose, I thought make the judges give Andre a few more points than he should have deserved. But Tai Tuivasa, everyone made fun of him. He has no cardio. He's a one-round guy. Not only does Tai, he's obviously he's not fucking Stipe or Cain Velasquez, but pretty goddamn good. Don't let the body fool you. He's explosive. He's a gnarly dude, man. He's a guy who's going to be a real threat to those people. Now, we haven't seen what his takedown defense is like. Arlovski, good trips, but as far as freestyle wrestling, really not there. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't run a single or blast double, anything like that. So I'm not sure what Tai Tuivasa is going to look like when he fights an elite grappler. But I like what we see there. And then featherweight, you had Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. Holly Holm, how can you not root for that girl? Especially her post-fight speech. It's just so heartfelt how she wants to go back to, and fight Amanda Nunes now, and how sad she was about losing her belt with Miesha Tate. And I think as far as the biggest improvement out of any fighter, especially at her age, that you've seen is Holly Holm. She's a person who dedicated to getting better at grappling. Obviously, it was an issue for her when you watch that Miesha Tate fight. Wrestling has never been her forte. And fucking against Megan Anderson, she looked like she's been grappling all her life. How big is Megan Anderson?
giant. Like a tall
Holy
dude.
fuck,
Like
man.
a guy.
What'd you say?
Like a tall guy. Like a tall, wide guy.
Oh, wow. That's fucked up.
No.
She's just a tall girl. I was trying to think of athletes, female athletes as tall as her. That's fucked up, Jen. I was trying to think of female athletes as tall as her. So you got Venus Williams, then Sharapova. But other than that, I mean, she has to be one of the biggest. You also have your WNBA players, but as far as, one-on-one sports, good God, man. She's a freak. She's fucking huge. She was so white. She was like almost a blue. Huh? She's like a pasty
With the tattoos,
blue.
maybe like a
yeah, I mean,
bluish.
pretty girl. And you can see the skill in her where when that fight first started off and she was at range, the combos, the knees, the kicks, I was like, oh, fuck, Holly's in trouble here. And all of a sudden, Holly became this world-class grappler. And I think that maybe surprised Megan Anderson. If you're fighting Holly Holm and you don't realize that she's the best featherweight in the world against the cage, and you think you're just fighting a striker, study tape, fire your coaches. When Holly Holm gets an underhook and she's against the cage, she's by far the best featherweight in the world at doing that. Can people not figure this out? How do you not? She's strong, her base, her control, her head pressure. She can. It's not the most exciting style. She did against Cyborg, gave Cyborg problems, which we've never seen before. She completely dominated Megan Anderson there. Holly Holm in the clinch is the best featherweight in the world. She can win a fight that way. Again, it's not being exciting, but it gives her time to collect her thoughts, dominate, win round, aggressiveness, control the octagon. If you're fighting Holly Holm, you cannot let her control that underhook. You can't. She's male or female, she's by far one of the best, top 3 overall. For Megan Anderson, tough night, but you see the skill is there. Should go back to the drawing board. Please don't give her Cyborg next. Let her get some wins on her belt because you can see the skill is there. She's a little monster, man. But fighting Holly Holm, it's her first real big test at world-class competition. I'm sure she learned a ton from that fight. Let's not write Megan Anderson off because her first UFC fight ever, she was 3rd on the main card of UFC 225 against one of the greatest, if not the greatest female fighter of all time, Holly Holm. That's all it is. She'll get better. She's going to be a star. On that welterweight, if I had to give one if they're like, all right, you can only give one person an award that night, it'd be Colby Covington. I saw online, people were like, man, I don't know. I can see Dos Anjos winning this round. What the fuck are you watching? Don't let your hatred for who Colby Covington portrays himself as, the shit talker, loudmouth guy. Don't let that blind your vision of how talented that kid is. He fucking dominated Rafael Dos Anjos. What in the world was everyone else watching? When I say everyone else, probably I'm talking to the minority here. Most people thought Kobe won that fight easily. It wasn't a fight. It was never really a fight. What Kobe did, and I didn't think he'd do it for 5 rounds. When he came out, I thought, this is an experience. He's going to go out. He's going to gas out by the 3rd round because Dos Anjos has cardio. Dos Anjos' cardio is pretty goddamn good. Dos Anjos has grappling. He's a black belt on the ground. His wrestling's pretty fucking good. His anti-wrestling's really good. His striking's ridiculous. And before this fight, I actually had Dos Anjos winning. I can't think of a worse matchup for Colby Covington. He never let Dos Anjos get comfortable. He applied the pressure. Dos Anjos never got in a rhythm. And how you know when a fighter's getting his ass whooped and it's not going well is you listen to the corner in between rounds. Dos Anjos' corner like, dude, let's go here. Wake up. Wake up, man. Come on, you got to throw combos. Do what we worked on. When you hear that stuff, that's not the sound of a corner that knows their fighter is having a good night. So even if you guys thought he won certain rounds, listen to the corner like, oh, come on, man, let's go. This isn't you. Don't let him control the cage. Fire first. And Dos Anjos likes to go forward. Dos Anjos likes to be the bully. He likes to be the guy that gets off first and controls the distance, controls the pace of the fight. And Colby Covington just never gave that man a fucking inch. And I don't know if people realize how tough of a game plan that is, how insanely tiring that is if you're Colby Covington. That was mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing, man. Absolutely mind-blowing. And for Colby Covington, I'm a fan of what he's done. Do I agree with everything he says? No. He got him to this title shot, and there was a lot of talk on how good Kobe Covington is. He only beat Damian Maia. It was in Brazil. He kind of dominated Damian Maia, but not like he dominated Dos Anjos. So before that, he realized he didn't beat anyone. And then you see this. Well, now he's the welterweight champion of the world. Interim belt. So take that for what it's worth. But interim belt. If you're Tyrone Woodley, it couldn't be any better for you, man. You find, because what makes certain guys superstars, where they get over the hump, where they cross over into superstardom, is they need an arch rival. You look at Jose Aldo, who's the best 145 on planet Earth for 10 years. Most people didn't know who that man was. And then a guy like Conor McGregor comes along, and you have this rivalry, and everyone loves it. And then Jose Aldo becomes a superstar. Obviously, Conor McGregor excels that. But for Tyrone Woodley, this is exactly what you wanted. This is exactly what you need. And you have to fight him now. This is the best case scenario for the welterweight division. Because what you don't want to have to have is Woodley just sitting on top there, dominating guys, and there's no movement, there's no rivalry, because that's not fun. That's not fun for anyone to talk about. It's not fun to watch. It's not there. Now you have these young lions who are so goddamn hungry, and they're in the attitude era, they're in the entertainment era, and they know they have to not only perform in the cage but sell the fight, and they're poking the bear, and now the bear's forced to fight Kobe Covington, and I love it, man. I love it. I don't agree with everything he says. Sometimes he oversteps certain lines. People think, I've always been the one to say, Kobe, see that line, run through it, and he's doing that. I think he's playing it smart, man. I think he's a good person underneath all that. I think this fight shows that boy has more skills than we all thought. He's going to be a real fucking problem.